Hello, folks. This is your stupid government update for the 13th. God, where to start? How about the MTS? Let's just do the MTS. Not really in the mood to do much of anything else. Kind of a little under the weather here. There's a bug going around, and I managed to pick it up. It's a pretty nasty one, too. Yeah. The good news is I think it's a cold because there's no fever, so it's probably not the flu. But pretty much everybody I know has either got it or is getting hammered by it or feeling it or starting to feel it. A couple of people I know around here, their kids have got it. I mean, God damn, it's everywhere. Anyway, it's that time of year. It's not a big shock, right? So if I sound a little sniffly, that would be the reason. All right, we got the MTS, which, as you know, is the monthly Treasury statement. Yeah, it's a document that nobody pays any attention to. They should, but they don't. First 3 months of this fiscal year, October, November, December, because this is the December one, the deficit was $357 billion. Now, I want to point something out here. We have the so-called official number, it's $357 billion. The real number is $403 billion. And how do I know that? Because you can go to debt to the penny, which is all the money that the government has borrowed. You can put in a start and an end date, subtract one from the other. Not very hard to figure out now, is it, folks? $400 billion in the first 3 months. Now, just to put some context on that, that's $1.2 trillion is about what we ran last fiscal year, so that's right on plan. Right on plan. Now, of course, all the breathless media, wait, there aren't any. There's like 2 or 3 places that are saying, oh, well, that was up 11% for these 3 months over last year. And indeed it was. The tax receipts are going up, but the spending is going up faster. And as I have continually pointed out, this is exactly this sort of goose the game nonsense is something that has always been justified in the depths of serious recessions and things like this as a way to get consumption going, get asset prices moving upward. But we are supposedly in the best economy in our lifetimes. And we have record low unemployment. We have, Donald Trump is running around screaming about how wonderful the stock market is every single effing day. And yet, here we are with our government blowing money at a rate that is just frightening. To put some context on this, if you want to look at where this probably goes, okay, we're talking about a fiscal deficit that is money spent beyond what the government takes in taxes. The total percentage of the spend for outlays last year was $4.4 trillion. Is what they took is what they spent. Well, we had 1.2 trillion. In deficits, real deficits last year. That's a 27% fiscal deficit. Folks, I've written so many articles about this, I can't even count them all. But if you personally could make $40,000 a year and spend 50 and change, 52, and get away with that on an indefinite forward basis, you'd feel really good. You really would, especially if you never had to pay any of that back, right? You would think, for someone that was only making 40 grand a year, by God, you're doing great. Well, what do you think is going on with the stock market and all this other stuff? What do you think is actually driving it? And oh, by the way, if you think that doesn't reflect back into prices, why do you think the ticker I wrote earlier today showed that medical bill? Why do you think that happens? Well, it happens because of this. And at the same time, we have all these scolds running around saying that Donald Trump is a son of a bitch, he's a five-alarm bastard, and da-da-da-da-da. We got to do all these other socialist things. AOC and Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, they're all out there with these crazy plans. They don't have any way to pay for any of them. You think Trump's budget deficits are crazy? Just guess at what's going to happen if one of these other clowns gets into office. Yeah. You know, I don't know whether to just kind of fold up the tent, turn the computer off, go hike in the mountains, and tell everybody to just go screw a goat. This has been going on pretty much since I started writing the market ticker. I put the warnings out there that you know, these banks that were playing these games, they were going to blow up, and they did. And Congress and Barack Obama got together and decided that the way to solve this was just not to give a shit about any sort of actually paying for what you want to do, ever. Not as a emergency measure to be taken. And by the way, the Federal Reserve is involved in this too. But the Federal Reserve is a creation of Congress. It's Congress's creature. Congress can stop it. They can trim it back. They can tell Jerome Powell, cut that shit out. They can stop spending money and stop running spending bills that have this kind of embedded fiscal deficit in them, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Oh my God. There's actually, just as I'm recording this, Jonathan Swan actually said deficit balloons to $356.6 billion. No, actually, Jonathan's over 400. But, you know, I don't expect Jonathan to be able to get out a calculator. He's just a journalist. That's asking too much. I don't expect any of these guys to actually get out a calculator. I don't expect Trump to do it. I don't expect Pelosi to do it. I certainly don't expect anyone of the blue check market and Twitter to do it. I do it, but these people don't. So, you know, enjoy this game for as long as it lasts, folks. I do not know where the fold back point is, but I know it's coming. And for those of you that think that this isn't why you're having all this pressure in the cities and the states, the budgets and taxes, property taxes and things like this, bullshit. All you got to do is take a look at that ticker that I posted up with the medical bill. It's only about the 20th one that I've done on essentially an identical topic. And look at that and say, wait a minute, what the blankety blanking blank? Where do you think that money, where do you think that money comes from, folks? Nowhere? No, of course not. And where does it come from when the person who gets that bill is a cop or firefighter or they work at City Hall? It comes from you. Doesn't come from them. They don't pay that. It comes from you. How about when the person that incurs that charge, if somebody gets picked up for something and thrown in jail, who gets the bill? You do. So, you know, you have all these people that are incarcerated. You get the bill for all them. You have all these people who work for the government. You get the bill for them. And we are all perfectly happy, and we're all cheering and cheering and cheering all the time. 400,000 people put to work in the healthcare industry in the last 12 months. But only 1.2 million new people came into the workforce. So maybe you can explain. And by the way, that's an almost exact mirror of the population growth. We just advanced forward 16 years. Because that's what it is. You know, if we do not get this under control, pretty much now, take our medicine, allow the adjustment in the economy to take place, deal with it, and work it, let it work its way out and go forward, we're going to get a fold back, and it's going to be ugly. But I already know what the answer is. It's too hard. I'm getting mine. I feel good. My 401k is up $100,000. Yeah, okay. As I pointed out, you can't outrun this. You will not be able to outrun what's being done to you. But you're going to sit here and listen to podcasts. What you're not going to do is actually take some kind of direct action and tell these clown faces they're going to stop this. You mean it. And if they don't, you and the other 330 million Americans are going to stop them. But see, here's the thing. Me just saying it by myself doesn't mean a damn thing. You and I saying it doesn't mean a damn thing. The only way it happens is when a substantial percentage of those 330 million Americans say it, they mean it, and they're willing to enforce it. And let's face facts, folks. That's not going to happen. So here over the next few days, I'm going to be executing on part of what I said I was going to do. And you guys can change my mind, but only through actions. Otherwise, well, it will continue. And what I've decided to do is just going to go down the road because there's no reason not to. And, to look at the people that are running around and so-called social media, the Scott Adams of the world, everything else, you people are nuts. Okay? You just are. Simulations that people tell you. If you do not have your wallet in order, then nothing else matters. Because without something in that wallet that you worked for, you're not going to work. Your car doesn't run because there's no gas. You don't have any electricity in your house. Absolutely, there's no food in the fridge. Absolutely everything is linked to that. You think a nation's any different when you really get down to it? Of course it's not. But that means you'd actually have to put your foot down, and that's too hard. So anyway, you folks have a good one. I'm out, and I'll talk to you soon.